Welcome to the latest episode of Alfie's Business Club. You are very welcome and very much invited to the number one podcast on business that doesn't make you cry. That's Stephen Bartlett, if you're listening. This is the show that makes you rich. We'll make you $1 billion with a money-back guarantee, in brackets, no refunds. This is the podcast that separates the millionaires from the billionaires, James. Mm-hmm. My name is Alfie Dundas, and I'm the CEO, founder of Alfie's Business Club. I'm also a philanthropist and a part-time zoologist. I'm joined today by my summer work experience, James Mileham.
Hello.
James, welcome. Don't take up, too much space, but we appreciate you and everything you do.
Thank you very much. I might say, you look rather nice in the turtleneck. I feel like you're rocking the Jobs look.
I'm black turtleneck and I've got little John Lennon glasses on, and that is because we are talking Steve Jobs. This is our second part in our three-parter on the main man, Steve Jobs. Part 1 and 3 are already out, so go and listen to those after this if you haven't already. Today we're going to focus on Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, the war inside Apple, the nerd and the psycho, the two virgins, but the slightly nicer one, the Lennon and McCarthy of Silicon Valley, the Gallagher brothers.
McCarthy.
What did I say? You
said McCarthy.
The Lennon and McCartney. Fuck. Delete the episode. The Lennon and McCartney of Silicon Valley. Two visionaries, two billionaires. Well, one multimillionaire, one billionaire. Friends, enemies,
lovers,
possibly. Mm-hmm. Quite possibly. Yeah. We're going to find out. So let's set the scene a little bit. Just a little reminder. We've talked about Steve Jobs a lot in our other episode, Steve Jobs, the psychotic bully. But just to paint a picture of the man, Steve Jobs is a beast. He's a 16-year-old when he meets Wozniak. Mm-hmm. Wozniak's 21. Which
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Just mates.
Nothing wrong with that. Just mates. Just mates that code.
Yeah.
And they bonded over sort of electronics and pranks and these kind of things. At the time, and again, we have talked about this before, but I just want to remind everyone, Steve Jobs is a stinky vegan hippie.
Yeah.
He's eating fruit only.
Oh God. Yeah.
He's not showering. And
that eventually kills him.
That does eventually kill him. So there's a lesson out there for everyone. Lesson 1 of today's episode of the Alfie's Business Club. Don't just eat fruit and vegetables.
Yeah.
Do that at the beginning because it will make you billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But eventually introduce a bit of grain and maybe a bit of meat into the diet.
And I don't think, looking at Steve Wozniak, I don't think he's ever had a fruit in his life.
I think Steve Wozniak has never seen any. I think Steve Wozniak has tried to bite into his computer at one point thinking it was an apple. But I don't think he's ever had an actual living fruit. Let's start at the beginning. The two Steves met in 1971, and a friend of theirs recalled the meeting and said they were both nerdy, socially inept, intellectual. No shit, really.
Yeah, and just make sure, just to continue on from the first episode, Michael Jackson is still black and not a nonce.
Yeah, sorry, we need to place this. Michael Jackson is, in 1971, black and not touching kids.
No.
But still, crucially, producing great music.
Just lovely music.
On the way up. Mourinho on his ascent, really.
Yes.
We're talking Academy days, Mourinho.
But maybe Barcelona B. He's
Barcelona
maybe
B.
assistant manager at Barcelona. Maybe he's just joined Porto.
And we've got these two Steves, the Steves. Steve Jobs was technically a Steven, but we'll let that slide. Mm-hmm. We've got the two Steves, and their first business together is phone phreaking. Now, that's not with an F, James.
No.
I can see you're getting excited. This isn't Freak of the Week.
No.
What was Freak of the Week? Was that a song by
the
guy with one F? Fetty
Yeah.
Wap?
Fetty Wap.
Can you pull up Fetty Wap? Is he missing an eye, or have I made that up?
No, he had glaucoma.
So Steve Wozniak invented Freak of the Week, and that is girls with big asses, I assume.
Maybe that wasn't... Oh, that's Crepton Conan.
Crepton Conan.
Yeah.
Freak of the Week.
Well, who's crept? I assume Steve is crept.
So, well, Steve and Steve, Crepton Conan.
Yeah.
That's actually really... I think we might be the first pod to make that comparison. Crept, and which one's Crept and which one's Conan?
Not Conan O'Brien.
No, sorry. So you're telling me Conan O'Brien was in a British rap duo called Crept and Conan?
Yes. He was.
Okay.
He's doing his wacky voices.
He's doing his wacky voices
over some
Crepton
drill
Conan.
rap.
Okay, so on your screen now, if you're watching this on YouTube, we got Crepton Conan. Now, I want to make it clear, this is not Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak.
No.
Because a lot of people get confused. Although, I imagine Crepton Conan are millionaires, so respect to them.
Oh, they've just opened up a supermarket to give back to their hometown, Crepton Conan Supermarket.
I tell you who'd love that.
Who?
Steve Jobs.
If only sold fruit.
If it only sold fruit, they'd be all over that. Well, shout out Crepton Conan.
Yeah.
Opening a fruit market for Steve Jobs. The Steve Jobs of the future. Where is it? Croydon.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, there. Okay, cool.
Well, if they want to come on the podcast and promote their
If
home...
Crept and or Conan watch or listen to this podcast, which I assume they do, they're both quite savvy businessmen. I actually have it on good authority. And they've just opened a supermarket that sells fruit in Croydon. And that's really important because we talk a lot about building a Silicon Valley here in the UK.
Yes.
And what we've learned about Steve Jobs, he's on a fruitarian diet as a teenager. And if you want to make billion-dollar startups, first of all, you need to be adopted.
Yep.
Your second father needs to be Syrian, as Steve Jobs' original biological father was.
You need to have some sort of...
You need to have a work ethic and kind of also a worldly view.
Yep.
But then you need to be born in Silicon Valley.
That helps.
That helps.
Yeah.
But third, you need to eat exclusively fruit that makes you smell.
Yeah.
And that's what Steve Jobs does. So now we've got stinky Steve Jobs and we've got sort of slightly overweight Steve Wozniak who doesn't eat fruit. Together they have a balanced diet.
Yes.
Put Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak.
Yeah.
You know, do you remember that film that TV show where they used to? Oh no, Steve Wozniak wasn't huge.
He's a bit of a chunky monkey.
He's quite a good-looking boy.
I
Look
guess
at that
so.
one. Wait, go on that one with the beard. There, 32 Steve was.
This one, yeah.
Steve Wozniak was a bit of a handsome devil because that was the hair at the time.
I suppose so. He does. I don't know.
He's got like he looks like he could be in the Bee Gees.
He does. He's got a Bee Gees vibe about him.
Staying alive. Well, he probably didn't sing that to Jobs on his deathbed, but not the time was.
No, not the time, mate. But he gets a bit chunky. Played by old
who's he played by in the movie?
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
So I made the computer. That's my word. That's my
very good.
Steve Wozniak is the kind of he's the same as Steve Jobs. They're both nerdy in the mind. But in terms of body, you couldn't be more different. Steve Jobs shaved his head, became a Buddhist on his gap year. Wozniak, big bushy beard.
Yes.
Steve Jobs, only eating fruit. Wozniak thinks Terry's chocolate orange is one of his 5 a day. They could not be more different. They would do very well on that show. I think it was a Channel 4 show where they basically took an overweight person and an anorexic person, and then they showed them how much they eat.
And they swapped diets, isn't it?
They swapped diets.
Super size versus super skinny.
Super size versus super skinny. Yeah. And didn't Richard Hammond present it?
But no.
Richard Hammond, and he went in a little submarine into the fat
I think
person's
you're
belly.
right.
Richard Hammond would get into a submarine and go into the belly, and then it was a green screen, obviously, but he would show.
It was a green screen.
Well, I don't know. He was small. He wasn't that small.
Hammond.
Super size versus super
I think
skinny.
he was just in like the world's fattest man.
And again, this podcast is about Woz versus Jobs, but this is important information just to give you an idea of where we are.
Richard Hammond's super size fat. I'm on the AI overview. Refers to a segment hosted by Richard Hammond for a show called Britain's Fattest Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Segment content. Hammond provided a tour of the man's body. He reacted with surprise to the size of the man's internal organs and the sheer quantity of animated yellow fat depicted.
He was surprised at the world's fattest man.
Well, anyway, that's what you need in your head. A lot of people will be listening to this, and I want you to think big old was, and then skinny fat was. Was ear being McDonald's. Steve Jobs was here being the local fruit and veg stall.
Yes.
That Crepton Conan have just opened in Croydon. Anyway, that explains perfectly who they are.
Yeah.
They meet through a mutual friend. Steve Jobs is 16. He's bald. He's stinky. Is 21. He's got a beard. He's also probably quite stinky. They do phone phreaking with a PH, and that was a sort of 1970s subculture of phone hackers, and they built blue boxes to exploit network tones, telephone network tones, and make free long-distance calls. Now, we touched upon this very briefly in our other episode. We're going to go into more detail about it now. The most famous thing they did using these blue boxes, and to give you a rough idea of how they work, back then we're talking, call the operator, they put you through. It would play a little tone if you've already paid for the call, and that would put the call through. Woz used the blue box, and he prank called the Vatican at midnight. He pretended to be US Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, who is still alive. Can you pull up Kissinger?
Kissinger must be dead.
But Kissinger is kind of like, one of the all-time greats of American politics. I don't know if greats is the right word.
I don't know what he did, but I've heard the name.
Powerhouse.
He was
Secretary of State
for Nixon.
So what was he doing in 71? He was Secretary of State in 73.
Well, he would have been Secretary of State. It was
Henry Kissinger's secret visit to China
was a key event that paved the way for President Nixon's historic visit the following year.
He's going to China.
So he was deputy. He was vice president. I'm pretty sure.
He's VP
to Nixon.
He's VP to Nixon. He's a powerful man, but he's very impersonable.
Yeah.
Impersonatable, whatever you want to say. Kissinger. Or a Kissinger voice comes through the phone. A bemused Vatican operator began waking the Pope before the pranksters' laughter gave them away.
He was National Security Advisor. Just a quick correction there.
Fine. So he's not quite Secretary of State, but he's still powerful enough that impersonating him gets you through to the Pope.
Yeah.
Some intern at the Vatican who's on the night shift.
Yes. Who is this?
Yes.
I'm sorry,
man. Yeah. And then, can you do a Kissinger?
I imagine he sounds a bit like this.
You go, hi, Henry here.
Yeah, Fat was.
Burger
in one hand, phone in the other.
And they go, is that eating in the background? No, it's Nixon. He's a loud chewer.
Yeah. Steve Jobs is impersonating Nixon.
I'm watching Richard Hansman's Superest Man is Fattest Man Alive in the back. I want to. My Nixon's quite Obama-esque. Adolf Nixon. No, Henry Kissinger. We got to figure out what he sounds like.
Richard Nixon's more like this.
Yeah, Henry. Yeah, probably sort of a deep tone. Anyway, they get through because back in the 70s. You could kind of get away with anything.
Yeah, no one cares.
They've managed to get through to the Vatican because they faked the sound of the phone line.
Yeah.
This is hardly national security, 101.
Because no one's going to call from America in the 70s, are they?
Well, this was an easy
earlier. This may have been the 60s.
The Vatican operators, someone's called and they've gone, it's Henry Kissinger, and he's gone, oh, well, we weren't expecting your call.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's of utmost importance.
Henri.
Yeah, get the Pope on the line.
Was said. Apparently, I'm just calling to make a confession.
Is that what he said?
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. And they probably went, well, as Henry Kissinger and probably a war criminal, quite possibly a horrible man. They went, well, it's about time, Henry. And then this operator went, let me go and get the Pope.
Yeah.
So he went to wake the Pope. And then, as he was holding the line, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak start laughing. So that, can I get the Vatican, please?
Hello.
No, sorry, but the operator goes, well, how do I know you've paid for the call?
Yeah.
And then Wozniak goes, oh.
Yeah.
That's all they did. That's all these boxes did. And then Wozniak's eating, and they go, hello, is Vatican?
Hello, I will just wake the Pope right now. Give me 5 minutes.
What can I do you for?
And then they put him on hold, and I assume it's...
He goes, it's Henry Kissinger, and I'd like to speak to the Pope, please.
Yeah.
And he okay, go get him. He's sleeping now. It's midnight.
It's midnight
here in Italy. It's midnight. What time is it for you? He goes, 6 p.m. Okay, I'll go get the Pope. He said, I'm calling to make a confession. He goes, the Pope's very good at those.
Yeah, he's the best.
Arguably
the best in the business.
Top 10 men to make confession to. And then they start like, they go, giggling down the phone. And they go, oh, is this a joke?
Yeah. You see that rascals of Jobs and Wozniak again?
He goes, Jobs, sharp. Fucking Jobs is eating in the background, just fruit.
Smoking a joint.
He's tripping on LSD.
Yeah.
His flip flops going, is that a Steve Jobs' stinky feet? I don't like. And he hangs up, and then, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
No punishment.
Well, should we try and prank call the Vatican? Keep chatting, keep talking away. I'll see if I can find the number for the Vatican.
James, this is not plugged in.
Oh.
Surely the Vatican number is just
666? No.
666?
Vatican City.
696932.
Should we try and prank call the Pope?
I can make long distance calls thanks to my Apple iPhone.
Can you contact the Pope?
Can I contact the Pope?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, there you go. You can send a fax. Oh no, that's not gonna work.
Oh, I want to call the Pope. We can call the embassy.
Let's call someone.
Let's call the Vatican embassy in Wimbledon.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Right. What's that? Okay.
What are you going to do? Who are you going to pretend to be?
Shush.
Okay. Oh, God. This is a bad idea.
I'm Catholic. I'm allowed to do this. I'm baptized. I do communion, which actually gets you a hotline.
Come on. What are they doing anyway?
You're going to give it away.
All right.
There is no one available to take your call at the moment.
What?
So please leave a message after the tone. When finished recording, press hash.
Hello, mate. It's Henry Kissinger.
Hello, mate. It's Henry Kissinger.
All
right. Well, hopefully.
Christ.
Hopefully we get a call back by the end of the episode.
Suddenly it just rings immediately. Hello, is it Henry?
Well, he's American, eh?
I'll go get the phone. Let me go get the phone. Oh, it's you.
It's Henry Kissinger.
He's called back after all of these years. It's 54 years later.
Okay, right.
Right.
So they're being pranksters as kids.
Who cares?
And they start a company.
Who cares?
Who cares? I care.
They sell 40 blue boxes and they do what we've just done. And that gets them really close together. They really like pranks. They really like technology. They're just two lads. They're boys. It's the modern, it's adolescence. It's what did boys do before porn? Answer, prank call the Pope.
Yes.
It's good, clean fun.
Mm-hmm.
In 1975, Jobs is working at a company called Atari, which is a leading video game maker, and he enlists Wozniak to help design a simplified circuit board for a game called Breakout. Can you look up Breakout? I don't really know what it is. But basically, there's a circuit board that has a bunch of chips in it, and Atari's co-founder is called Nolan Bushnell.
Oh, it's that thing. It's I used to play this on my iPhone.
Oh, it's a Brick Breaker.
Brick Breaker, yeah.
Okay, so it's BlackBerry. It's the BlackBerry Brick Breaker original.
Yeah,
which is ironic because BlackBerry were an Apple competitor, so I don't know how that's happened. Fine, so this would have been probably like a physical arcade game.
Yes.
And Atari made it, and the co-founder of Atari, called Nolan Bushnell, he offered a bonus of $100 for each chip that Wozniak eliminated from the design of the game, because it would make the game smaller and cheaper to run. Wozniak astounded everyone. He reduced the chip count by 50, which meant they should have got a $5,000 bonus, equivalent to about 35 grand today, to put it into perspective. However, Jobs told Wozniak that Atari had only paid him $700 in total. So he handed Wozniak $350. So he cheated Woz out of about $2 and a bit grand.
It's the first signs of
cheating.
deception. Yeah.
Wozniak did learn what happened later, and he basically just said, if I'd known Steve needed the money, I wish he just told me and I would have given it to him. He didn't have to steal it from me. But yeah, I think this is setting the scene quite nicely for the kind of
their chums, dynamic. They love computers. Steve's already been a dick.
Wozniak's too nice. Lesson number 2 of this episode. Don't be the nice guy, because, spoiler alert, Wozniak ends up much poorer.
Yes, but crucially alive.
Ooh, now that is a trade-off.
Yeah. I can imagine he's got I bet he's got $1 billion. Do you reckon, Wozniak?
Don't know. Do you think he's now doing like public speaking appearances? You know, when you sort of have like an end of year company party there. Oh, we've got this guy that was on Celebrity Hunted 4 years ago. He's going to hand out the awards and they get four grand for the night or whatever. How much do you think it cost to get Steve Wozniak to?
He's only
he's not got a lot because he wasn't there when it went
100 million.
He's only got 100 million.
Because he gave away as much of his wealth and sold Apple stock early in the company's history. You idiot, Steve.
Broke. No broke boys, no news fans.
So he is, I assume he's the
loser. You know who doesn't have billions? It's Steve Jobs.
Yeah, Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs died, which is sad, but he died with billions. Let's get to Apple.
Yep.
Jobs saw the commercial potential in a little hobby project that Wozniak created. Now, this is important because Wozniak invented the tech that was crucial for all the Apple stuff. He invented the Apple I just for a bit of fun. Just for a bit of fun, he invented a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Just for fun. And he showed it off at the local homebrew computer club, which was a little Bay Area meetup. A bunch of virgins got together. And for fun, they go, look, I made a computer. Look, I made a phone box. Oh, lads. It's just lads behavior. It's nice.
Go to the pub, show off your computer.
It's sort of Andrew Tate origins.
But there was no...
What colour's your computer?
Yeah.
It's the original blue Bugatti.
Right.
What colour's your local homebrew circuit board?
But he's... Okay, so these... They're getting together, they're down the pub, they're showing each other computers. But there was no porn at this time, crucially.
There wasn't any porn?
No.
Where are you going with that?
Well, I'm just thinking on the computer, that's the sort of second thing you do, isn't it?
Yeah, but they didn't have the idea for porn pre-inventing a computer.
Porn was already around in magazines.
Magazine pornography was around.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're implying that maybe they had one thing in mind where they were like, maybe we wouldn't have to hang out at the whole homebrew club if we could somehow take he brought a magazine and he went, imagine if that was...
Get that in there.
But he can't quite figure out. He's going, how do I put it in how do I put that in the screen? And imagine if it moved.
But what do these computers look like at this time?
Like they're literal boxes, and what you do, I think, is you buy the circuit board and then you plug it into a monitor.
But what is that? What can you do on these? What can you do on these?
It's actually a very good point. Do you have? Because I don't know if you've got the internet.
Oh, we've got the internet. Yeah.
No. We have internet, James.
No internet at that time.
I think we might have the internet here. No, we have the internet, but I don't know if the internet can't be invented before the computer, surely.
No. Apple One.
This is the chronology. Internet porn first, then the internet was invented, then the computer.
You know, it's like they say the cigarette lighter was invented before the cigarette. Very similar.
Yeah, but that's because a cigarette lighter isn't just it's a lighter.
Yeah.
Whoever said, oh my God, I can't believe the cigarette lighter came out first. It's like, are you fucking idiotic?
That's what they say.
Who says, who?
Me.
Who are you hanging out with?
I'm hanging out at the homebrew club, showing people my computer.
At the homebrew computer club, no one would be as stupid to say, did you know the cigarette lighter came out before the cigarette?
I think that's what they say. That's like a famous thing. Right, anyway.
No, it's
on
the
Apple
chicken.
One,
You're thinking of the chicken and the egg.
Right.
You're thinking of the chicken and the egg. What came first?
Yeah. Steve would have the egg.
Who cares?
On Apple One, you could primarily use it for programming, learning about computers at a low level, and playing simple games.
Sorry, you could buy the computer to learn about computers. Nerd. Nerd. It was a computer for hobbyists.
Yeah.
There's no money here. There's no money. What everyone says Wozniak invented the computer, the Mac. Fine. But Steve Jobs saw the value in it.
Right.
And that's important. And lesson number 3 of Alfie's Business Club today is you don't actually have to do anything as long as you get on board with the right nerd.
Yeah.
And you kind of gaslight him into making you money. Okay? Does that you understand what I'm trying to say?
So you kind of get him to do the dog's body work.
Get him to do all of the work.
Yeah.
And then just take credit for it.
Right.
Or even better, like he did with the phone boxes, with the chips, Atari, just say, oh, there wasn't any money.
Yeah.
And Woz goes, well, I'm pretty sure we should have got $5 grand. No.
Nope.
Wish we had, mate. Wish
yeah.
we had. I'd have given it all to you.
You can
Oh,
have
we
it.
didn't. We got 700, so you can have 250. What? That doesn't even make sense.
So now this is their first foray into business.
Yeah.
Apple
Woz quits his job at HP and they launch Apple One and then they form the Apple Computer Co.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about this in the last episode, but they had a third co-founder, Ronald Wayne, who had 10%, and he gave it away because he was literally too scared of Steve's grand plans.
That's mad. 800 quid. Could have made 300
He
billion.
got $800. He would now be worth 300 billion. To fund the first batch of parts, they both sold something. Wozniak sold his HP Scientific calculator for $500. He's buying a calculator for $500.
Although at school, do you remember we had to buy a calculator at school? Those were pricey.
Yeah, but this is $500 in 75.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's 4 times now. It's a $2,000 calc.
A couple grand cow.
That's a $2,000 calc.
Jesus.
You spent $2,000 on sides.
But I can imagine Steve was just putting boobs into it.
Steve was just going 6000
Yeah.
65, turning it upside down, going that's clever.
That's good.
Jobs sold his Volkswagen van for $1,500.
Right.
So again, Jobs has gone, I've sold the car, and Wozniak's gone, well, I've sold a calculator,
Yes.
which is rare. I thought I thought Jobs would manage to fuck him up there, but he doesn't. The Apple II comes out a couple of years later, and suddenly personal computers are everywhere. The Steves are a massive success. Wozniak was the genius that designed it. Jobs took it around the county fairs, sold it. It was great. They had big arguments, but things were going well. One sort of weird prank that Wozniak pulled was in 79. In 79, he published a spoof advertisement for a fake computer called the Zoltaire, which was a satire of a rival company called Altair. The brochure was so convincing that Steve Jobs fell for it and then would compare the Apple II's performances to the fictitious Zoltaire computer.
Okay.
Woz later presented Steve Jobs a framed copy of the fake ad as a birthday gift.
That's great.
Revealing that Jobs for quite a long time had been really enthusiastically benchmarking against Zoltaire. So Steve Jobs was a psycho bully and he was walking around the fairs going, hey, Zoltaire's a piece of shit. Doesn't work. Try to turn it on, it blows up. And it didn't exist. The whole
That's
time
great.
it didn't exist.
So he's kind of getting him back a little.
He's getting him back. Woz was like kind of a cheeky guy.
Cheeky fat guy.
He was a cheeky little, he was jolly.
He's a jolly chubby guy.
Things go a little bit crazy from there. In 1977, they sell $775,000 worth of computers. In 1980, 118 million. Crazy. By 1980, they sold 80,000 Apple IIs. And they had 1,000 employees. And then in December 1980, we go big. We go IPO, initial public offering. We take the company public. They raise $100 million. Jobs is now worth 200 mil. Wozniak, who's 5 years older, but they had equal shares, is around 100 mil. Now, the reason that happens is because 40 of the early employees and investors who were like part of those hobby days when they were taking it around the county fairs, Jobs didn't refuse to give them any equity. Jobs said that it was lazy. He was like, I don't give people equity because I'm friends with them. It's about future performance. It's an incentive.
Right.
Wozniak felt so bad that he gave them all in early stock $10 million worth. So when they come to IPO, Wozniak's stake is half of Steve's.
He is a good guy.
He's a fucking idiot, James. Lesson number 4. Don't give your cash away. Don't give your cash away.
Oh my God.
It gives away half the wealth.
It made instant millionaires of over 40 Apple employees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now that's nice. And now you get all teary-eyed about that. But Wozniak didn't want the money. He was the nice guy of Apple. He was generous and he was loyal. Later on, he said, I didn't want to be near money because it could corrupt my values. Grow up. Grow up. Can't take the heat. Get out the kitchen.
No, so 1980. This is what? This is when? When was this?
This is all in 1980. 1980 is when they IPO. 1981.
Right. So
They
Michael
all-
Jackson.
Michael Jackson is about to release
Thriller. Off the wall.
Thriller and Off the Wall.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's about to dominate culture for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's where they're making big money. And then in 1981, is in a plane crash.
Whoa. What?
1981, things start to crash metaphorically.
Oh my God. I have no idea about this.
Context for this, Steve Jobs now worth millions, and it has really gone to his head. like Steve, unlike Steve Wozniak, who's like, oh, I don't want the money, it corrupt my value. I don't know why he's Lennon again, but he is. Steve Jobs is not pretty. The power is changing him. People around him said he's less sensitive to people's feelings because he can afford to be, and he just runs over people, is what they said.
Right. Steve was in a plane.
And Jobs, the cracks are showing, and then in 81, literally a year after the IPO, is in a plane crash. He crashed his own little small plane.
Oh, he had a plane.
Takeoff.
It was his plane.
He had a little plane, a little chopper, a little fun plane.
Right.
And he had a serious head injury. And he suffered temporary amnesia. He couldn't form new memories for weeks.
Whoa.
Which is tough. So
why is he in it? Why has he got his own plane? He's a big fat bloke. He doesn't need a plane.
There should have been someone else going, that's not going to...
No one's going to hold.
That's not going to work.
No.
Tiny little... How small it was?
Tiny plane, giant man.
How small are we thinking? Because we think maybe a nice large plane.
About 747 for
like
you.
Have you thought of a slightly bigger plane?
Let's have a look how tiny his plane was, because I'm sure it was...
I think it was one of those little personal ones. Right, well, that's fake.
Do you reckon?
That's got to be clickbait. It's just a plane broken in half.
Yeah. Oh, we can't see his plane. Yeah,
Anyway, he crashes, and that kind of changes his direction. He decides to take a bit of time away from the business.
Right.
And he decides to finish his long-delayed college degree at UC Berkeley under the pseudonym Rocky Raccoon. He didn't want anyone to know it was him, so he called himself Rocky Raccoon.
Well, as a Beatles freak, that is the name of a Beatles song. Rocky Raccoon.
Beatles. Now that's a band, right?
That is a band.
Popular band.
Nice little link there, as he is the McCartney. You reckon?
He's the
Jobs
McCartney.
is Lennon.
Jobs is Lennon, and the money is Yoko.
Yeah. So Rocky Raccoon, a Beatles song. So that's kind of a nice little link there.
But it's hardly less conspicuous.
No.
That's me. That's like me going, oh, I don't want anyone to know I'm going back to uni, so I'm going to call myself Live Forever by Oasis.
Yeah, true.
To be clear, he is the McCartney because he is nice and he lives forever.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs is the more talented one that dies early.
Okay, well.
Ooh.
Okay.
And if you don't like that, drop it in the comments. And he's got the little glasses.
Yeah.
They also
the
look quite
glasses.
similar.
Yeah.
Now, if
and he stinks.
And he stinks. And he stinks and he's changed by the money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of the Gallagher brothers,
mm-hmm.
I never really know who's the dick.
Well, I think Liam's famously the most outwardly a bit.
Liam's the Steve Jobs.
Yes, because Wozniak's Noel and does all the work.
Yeah. A bit of swagger.
Yeah. Liam stands at the front with his arms behind his back going,
Maybe.
yeah, takes all the credit, and Noel's the one writing the
want to
songs.
know how you got involved. That, by the way, Liam Gallagher hasn't just walked into the studio. That's me on.
That's just you.
That's just me on vocals, because a lot of people will be listening to this and they'll go, Christ, that's quite a big coup.
They've got Liam.
Gallagher's got an Alfie's business podcast. That's crazy. No, but if the Gallagher brothers want to come in the club and talk about how much money they're making off their new tour. Ooh, my emails are very much open.
How much they fucked over people with that Ticketmaster.
Hey.
Yeah.
Dynamic pricing is the free market correcting itself, James.
Yeah. Okay.
I have socialism in my studio. He takes a leave from Apple and he funds and organizes two massive open-air music and tech festivals, the US festivals. Has gone full kind of midlife crisis. He's a little crash in the Porsche. He gets a young wife and he goes to Glastonbury, basically. He sets up two little Glastonburys, open-air music / tech. I mean, that is just horrible. That's a horrible fest. What does that even look? What do you mean? You go and listen to the Bee Gees. You get to see Michael Jackson do Thriller, and then you've got to test out an iPhone.
Let's have a look at the lineups. 983. Who we got? Who we got on the lineups? Who's he booked?
Ellie? No, that can't be the. What?
This is it, 1983.
What? Van Halen, Bowie, Stevie Nicks, Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Sorry, U2, The Pretenders, Are you joking?
Were U2 around? I don't know. U2 around. That's mad, isn't it?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
This is US Festival. Yeah, this is what he did.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, when old Jobs took his side project with Pixar.
Making Toy Story and $1 billion. Yes,
The Clash, Men at Work, I come from a London. In Excess. Oh, we know.
So where are we? San Bernardino, California. So on the Saturday night, you can see The Clash, Men at Work, Stray Oats, The English Beat.
Yeah. In Excess.
Bunch of idiots, basically.
Do you know how the lead singer of In Excess died?
I don't know what In Excess is.
In Excess is the band.
Yeah.
I
thought In Excess was just how I choose to live my life.
Nice.
It's comedy.
The guy killed him. The guy died. He did the old, the
Tuesday Night In.
The wanky choke.
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yes. Yeah. So he died. So that's a bit of something for you.
Wanky choke. I mean, Christ, what they teach you at school.
Then on the
Sunday, you could see Van Halen. What does that say? Scorpions.
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue and Ozzy Osbourne were quite low down on that list.
Judas Priest.
Triumph. And then on Monday,
That
on a
is
work
mad.
day, you can watch Bowie, Stevie Nicks, The Pretenders, and U2.
Willie Nelson. Joe Walsh. This is amazing.
Monday, everybody's packing up and going home.
Yeah. Bowie's going.
Bowie's going.
He's doing. This is 1982.
He's doing Heroes.
1982, the year before, the thing that he also founded, The Police.
This is year one of the US festivals. I thought was like a little joke, geeky thing.
No.
They won The Police. Talking Heads.
Yeah.
This must be the best.
Santana.
That's Santana's got that great song. That one song.
I do.
I can't sing it because it'll get copyright striked on YouTube. But
and Day 3, Grateful Dead. The boys.
Cars. Who's gonna drive you home
Is that them?
tonight? Yeah. Tom Petty, Eddie Money, and then who we got? The Grateful Dead, Fleetwood Mac.
That's mad.
So the year before they had Fleetwood Mac, and then the year after they got Stevie Nicks.
Yeah,
that's great.
that's crazy, eh? So that's Woz is on a serious
Okay,
gap year.
I
Take
actually,
that back.
I'm going to give that to Woz.
Yeah.
That's a fresh festival. I thought that was a bunch of nerds like listening to shit music and then like playing on Nintendos.
Yeah.
That is quite possibly one of the greatest festival lineups I've
That's
ever seen.
unbelievable.
And no one has ever spoken.
I've never heard
that.
about that before.
The US festivals. That's great. The festivals lost money. Well then in that case, don't even bring him up. But Woz was having fun. He was a philanthropist and he was no longer a stressed tech exec.
So what was happening when Woz is off?
So that's 82. So
what's happening at Apple at this time?
Jobs is developing the Macintosh. The Macintosh.
Yeah.
And he unveils the Macintosh, which then really fails quite badly. And that's when he gets ousted.
Right.
Jobs is kind of the leader, but now they've IPO'd, they've got a board, they've got a CEO, John Scully. He confronts Steve Jobs in Hawaii on a board meeting.
Yes, as discussed.
He goes, get out, get your flip-flops back on, get out.
Get my pub.
Steve Jobs is out because of the Macintosh failure. That is the main pressure.
Right.
In that era, we got sort of 1983 to 1984. They've sort of split up a little bit. This is whilst Apple are developing the Macintosh. Steve Jobs is obsessed with the Macintosh, which is going to fail and lead to him getting kicked out.
And he kind of was very dismissive of his team during the Macintosh.
Being a dick to his team, he was calling them shit. He was
and was while he was being, the big where Jobs kind of presents it to everyone. Is literally in the car park. Yeah,
the what is it? The shareholder meeting. The 1984 shareholders meeting was the Macintosh's public unveiling.
Yeah.
That iconic ad, the 1984 TV ad. The entire Mac group was celebrated on stage, and the Apple II division, which is Woz's division, weren't invited to the event. Wozniak literally watches it from the car park.
That's mad.
What's crazy about that is at this time, we stick to the numbers on the pod, the Apple II was the original computer that was created that was making loads of money. That was making loads and loads of money. The Macintosh was a new idea that Jobs was working on. So they've unveiled the Mac and they've got the whole team up on stage. But the thing that is making 85% of the revenue is still the Apple II.
Right.
That is like right now, if you went to the Apple event and, you know, the Shazam team all get on stage
Yes.
and they go, we've solved the world problem of when you hear that song that you quite like but you don't recognize. And the iPad and the iMac team then are going, hold on, is something going on in the canteen?
Sorry.
Shazam team's at it again.
Yeah. No, you're right. This is wild though, especially because it's like he's the main man.
He's the main man.
Well, he's the second main man. Yeah.
He's the top dog. And this is also the time at which Wozniak and Steve Jobs' relationship starts to fall apart a little bit. Wozniak feels like his Apple II team is not quite getting the attention they deserve. I also think this is when, and I mean, we'll touch on it more in our next episode, but this is when Steve Jobs is having all his issues with his daughter that he ignores.
Lisa.
And the only reason I bring that up is because they called one of the computers Lisa.
Oh.
At the same time that Steve Jobs had just named his daughter Lisa. And then he pretended he couldn't have a daughter and didn't have a daughter. And then they went, well, then why'd you just name the computer Lisa? And he went, well, that's a coincidence.
Yes, he did say that. Okay, well, we'll get into that for the next one.
So we're talking about, this is in 1983. It was a $10,000 business computer that flopped massively. And
so Jobs is now ousted from Apple.
Jobs is then ousted from Apple in 1984. So the Macintosh flops. No one wants one. Is annoyed because the Apple II, which is actually selling, is getting no kind of support. Scully eventually kicks him out. Wozniak also leaves Apple officially because he's kind of taken a step back. He's doing the fattest music festivals you've ever seen.
Yeah.
He leaves. I can't tell if he leaves before Steve Jobs leaves.
So I think Jobs leaves first. Jobs gets ousted.
Oh, it's 3 months. No. It's literally 3 months apart.
Oh, really?
Jobs and Scully have their little showdown in Hawaii in May 1985. We're in 85. Okay. Early in the year, in February, Wozniak leaves.
Oh.
He later described Apple as the bane of his existence. And he resigned because he didn't like the direction they were going in. They kept him on as an Apple Fellow. Which is ironic because he's never had one. Steve Jobs is the Apple and Pear Fellow.
Yes.
Wozniak's the burger bloke. At max.
Yeah.
He keeps a salary of 20 grand a year. Very reasonable for the time. Very reasonable. And he kind of just got brought out for like events and things.
He's wheeled out.
He's wheeled out and he did one of his big last contributions, and I want to talk about that, is he arranged for Apple to donate a bunch of Apple II computers to Soviet schools in 1985 as a gesture of, goodwill.
After the Cold War.
Communist.
Yes, he's like Mamdani.
Communist. It's like Zoran Mamdani. Congratulations on last week. It's disgusting. He takes good, hardworking American computers. You know where he sends them?
To the fucking Ruskies.
Russia.
Yeah.
Heard of it?
Yeah.
The bad guys from all the movies?
Yeah.
You gonna send them there, are you?
Yes, lovely computer.
Yeah. What?
Look at this one.
What have you done, Wozniak, quite possibly Russian. Wozniak? Stephen Wozniak? Was he a spy?
No, he wasn't a spy. Couldn't have been a spy. So he sent him to Russia. And what are they doing on the computers? I mean...
Brick Breaker? They're just constantly playing Brick Breaker, but Ukrainian tanks.
Yeah. And then they put the Brick Breaker into practice about 3 or 4 years ago.
Wozniak gave them Brick Breaker, and over 50 years they went, I quite like this.
Yeah.
We're just shooting at things that are like in the way.
Let's get him.
All
right.
So we sort of slightly implied that Wozniak is the responsible for the Russia-Ukraine war. I don't quite know if I want to put that out, but but again, I just like to say we're just asking questions.
Yes.
So now they're
Important
both out of the company. Wozniak goes full on retired philanthropist.
question.
He does his festivals. He loves his gadgets. He founded a little startup called CL9, it's Champions League 9, and it's trying to get Arsenal back in the Champions League. CL9 is a universal remote control. It's basically the ultimate app for dads. It's like you can control all your apps through one super app.
Great.
Like your TV. You know how some people like. You go into their house and they're like, "Oh, I'll turn the lights on from my phone."
Yeah.
You ever seen that? Like
yes,
really,
yes.
he did that in '85.
Right.
Put the music on, light the fire, pour a couple brandies,
All in one.
click.
He's got a smart home.
He's got an Alexa
Yeah.
It's got a 1985 Alexa.
He's clever. Isn't
Although back then that might have actually just been a real woman.
he? God, Alexa.
That could have just been an assistant.
Alexa.
Alexa.
Okay, so he's kind of gone, I don't like Steve. Steve's a prick.
He's gone, I don't like the way you're talking to me.
Yeah.
I don't like the way you're talking to my engineers. Steve Jobs is getting into elevators and firing people by the time he gets to the top floor. Steve Jobs is calling people stupid, bozo, and shit. First of all, Steve Jobs kept calling people bozos. That's quite possibly the funniest insult you can have.
Bozo.
Yeah. You go, Steve, I've been working on this for 6 months. Bozo. You go, oh, Steve.
Cheers, mate.
He sends a bunch of Apple II computers to the Soviet Union, and he joins a Segway Polo team.
No.
Yeah? Look it up.
What?
Look it up. Your boy, your communist, broke philanthropist, softy, possibly overweight, good guy,
Segway Polo. That's
joins the
unbelievable.
Segway Polo team in 85, which I don't really understand how they had them back then.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When was the Segway? Oh, look, it really, whatever, by the way, if you're not watching this, whatever you're imagining, it is literally that. It is literally huge men on Segways with a stick playing polo.
Oh. No, he must be doing this after.
Maybe this is just all of the things he did. He also got a pilot's license, although he didn't fly again.
Brilliant.
Like, fair enough.
Yeah, he got in a plane crash.
So he was technically an employee in name only. Like, he had a tiny paycheck and he was an Apple fellow, but he didn't really do anything. And because of that, he stopped getting equity. And because of that, he missed out on becoming a multi-billionaire.
Jesus.
When Jobs went to Next and Pixar, and then he came back, he was making billions. Did not. He said he was happier not being so rich.
That's what you say. That's like when a team doesn't get in the Champions League and they're like, well, we got a lot more. We can rest a lot more players.
Yeah,
we don't want to play.
I didn't want to win the FA Cup. I was like, we got going to Sunderland on a weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be so rich.
Well, I mean, he's got 100 million. What can you do? 100 million's good enough, isn't it?
I don't know. I think that runs out in weeks. How much is a pint of milk? 20 grand?
Something like that. It's
40 grand
yearly
these days.
salary.
Cost of living crisis and all that.
I know.
Woz does create another company, but he keeps avoiding computers, basically. Like, people wanted him to set up Woz's computers, which does sound like a corner shop that sells like jailbroke iPhones.
Yeah, and vapes.
It's like, unless you want a menthol vape or a phone that's been stolen off a line bike criminal, Woz's computers. Steve Jobs goes off and he does Next, he does Pixar. We talk about that in our Steve Jobs the Bully series, so go and listen to that episode if you haven't already. Steve Jobs returns to Apple in 1997. The return and the reconciliation of Steve. Apple acquire Next, which was Jobs' company after he was ousted. And he, again, becomes the special advisor, and then he becomes the CEO. Wozniak was very kind to him during this time. He said that when Steve came back, he restored some of the passion and the commitment that the company needed. He kind of did a sort of an Arteta. This is the fucking standards of the Apple II.
He's drawn a heart on a brain.
He's got the light. You feel the light bulb.
Yeah.
This is the energy you must create. And we go again. It's the fucking standards. Is the Arteta. They're kind of like Guardiola and Arteta. Jobs has made all the money, won all the Champions Leagues. He's Guardiola. But was kind of softer figure. He was in the wings. But the real mastermind. As soon as Arteta goes, look what happens to Guardiola's career.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so that's good. So he's come back. So what was their relationship when Steve was sort of crumbling, when he was eating his fruit and he was denying pancreatic cancer surgery? So what did they reconcile? Did they get?
Well, let's go recent. Yeah. The iPod era is the early 2000s.
Mm.
And at this point, basically what happened is Wozniak's no longer part of the company. Steve Jobs rages on.
Mm-hmm.
And Wozniak publicly is quite nice about everything.
Okay.
And he goes, because people kept coming up to Wozniak and going, Steve Jobs has hit an employee, has bullied someone and they've left. And Wozniak goes, yeah, but isn't he smart? And the press kind of go, oh, that's nice.
Mm.
He says, in 2000, he says, I don't always agree with his methods, but Apple is Apple because of Steve, which is quite clever because he could be referring to himself there.
Mm-hmm.
He could be Steve Wozniak.
Yeah. I love Steve Wozniak.
Yeah. I think they've done a lot of evil things, but Apple is only Apple because of Steve Wozniak. So they were, I think, publicly kind to each other. Privately, did not hang out a lot. Wozniak kind of got rolled out every time there was an event and there was a launch. In 2007, they launched the iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Woz famously waited in line overnight amongst all the bloggers. He camped outside.
Who did?
Wozniak.
Right.
Because he's no longer part of the company. And he refused any VIP treatment. He showed up at the San Jose Apple Valley store the night before the launch. And with all, those Apple fans, they camp outside the Apple store overnight to get the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Wozniak joined them. He pitched a tent, which he may have got an erection as well. But he literally camped. And then when he was the first one in the store when the iPhone was released.
That's sick.
It's really cool. Jobs had offered to send him a free iPhone the next day after they'd come out. Mm-hmm. Wozniak went in, he refused any treatment, and he bought 2. There was a limit. You could only buy 2. He had 3 kids. He wanted to buy 3. He bought his 2. He didn't complain. He left.
Aww.
He said the iPhone was one of the first truly human phones.
Brilliant.
I love to see the future early.
That's great. So
what a man.
He kind of just, he didn't really care. He wasn't bitter. He wasn't angry. He lost out on billions.
We cannot explain how many billions he lost. Lost billions.
And his best mate sort of fucked him over, was a dick to him his whole life, stole his money.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I kind of just still like computers.
Steve Jobs stole his money when neither of them had any money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the whole thing starts with that initial $5,000 that Steve doesn't split.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we've made $5,000 50-50, right? Was mate. Go eat a burger in the corner. Not interested.
Yes. So
I think Woz does have the happier end. Like Wozniak is just constantly going to the events, praising it. Steve Jobs gets really ill in 2009. He gets a liver transplant in 2009. Wozniak would try and reach out occasionally. In early 2010, Wozniak emailed Steve Jobs saying that Apple should consider making a cheaper iPhone model or even an Android-compatible phone on the side. Jobs just said, Apple will never do that, but thanks.
Oh, God.
And he said, Steve is going to do what Steve is going to do, and he's usually right. So even Steve Jobs is on his deathbed. He gets an email going, hey, I think, I've not said anything in 10 years. I think you should make a bit of a cheaper iPhone, one that's compatible with Android. And Jobs goes, all right, maybe just not now.
And he's dying.
Just don't start now.
Yeah.
Back in your box, Woz.
And they do, ironically.
Back in your box as I clamber into mine.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seemed like they were kind of mates even towards the end of Steve's life. I think Steve was just not a person. That's the thing I feel. Steve Jobs does not feel like a person.
Because he's a revolutionary, you mean?
He's got that, those people that feel like cartoon character, like Elvis is not a person.
He's too good to be true.
It's almost
too big to be true.
Yeah, he's like a cartoon character.
I think Steve Jobs is a genius. I think Wozniak was...
Niak.
just a bit of a nerd, really.
Bit of a nerd, kind of, but nice.
A nice nerd.
Would you remember?
Can you look up Wozniak's net worth right now?
It's 100 million.
What, in 2025?
Yeah.
It's not bad.
So-
I guess. Does that count?
I am 3 years older than you, so I remember. 100 to 140 million. Yeah,
Fine. You can live off that.
just about.
Just about.
So, what was the first sort of Apple that you remember?
iPod with the.
Do you remember the iPod?
But the Nano.
iPod Nano.
I was after the Shuffle.
Right.
The Shuffle was crazy if you think about it now because you couldn't pick the song.
You could just.
Well, you would just download all the phones and then you'd have to click through
Yeah.
to the one you want, which is a mental way to do things. But I guess it was the first one.
But do you remember? Because I remember having an iPhone 3GS when I was in year 7, year 8.
No, I didn't have that.
You didn't have that?
No.
Well, you would have been. You were in primary
BlackBerry.
school.
Straight to iPhone 5.
iPhone 5 was your first iPhone.
I think so, yeah.
Ooh, oh my god. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now I get the new iPhone every year and it doesn't do anything different.
No, in those first couple, you could do I remember the beer drinking.
The beer drinking app,
that was sick.
there was some good times at Apple.
Yeah, there was some,
That app that's the equivalent of like the Wozniak not getting invited to the event. It's the beer drinking app
Yeah.
getting invited to the Apple launch. And going, we'd like to welcome iBeer
yeah, it was
onto
good
the
idea.
stage.
So good.
And the calendar app's going, what the fuck
Jesus
is
Christ.
happening here?
I love my iPhone. My first iPhone. It's great. It's great.
They were cozy. I think towards the end, Wozniak realized that there was no benefit in being bitter about anything. So he just sent computers to the Russians. Communist.
Yeah,
He played Segway Polo. Now that is kind of cool.
that's great.
It's kind of fun. He set up some charities, and publicly he would always say, Steve was always nice to me, which isn't true.
No.
One
Factually
interesting
inaccurate.
thing is Woz said that about 1985, around the time Jobs was leaving Apple, Jobs said to Woz that he felt like a lot of his own life was based on getting things done quickly. And he said Jobs realized that he wasn't going to live for a long time. Steve Jobs felt like he was going to die young. And he said, I want to get a lot of things done quickly. And Woz afterwards was like, oh, he knew all along.
That's mad, isn't it? I mean,
So I'd like to put out
Yeah.
publicly, I have a real feeling I'm going to live for a fucking long time with great success.
yes. These podcasts will take 2 years to come out.
I think that, these episodes are going to take absolute years. And then the legacy of their friendship is kind of, in the movie, they portray it as like a real shouting match. And I think that was that whole movie was just about that launch.
Yeah, there was a few launches in that film.
And that is Steve Rogen. What am I trying to say?
Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen and
Michael Fassbender.
can't call him that. Michael Fassbender plays Jobs.
Yeah.
Rogen plays Wozniak, and that whole film is about the launch, right?
There's I think it's over 3 different launches of different.
Yeah,
products.
and the last one is the one where Woz isn't. No, the middle one is the one where Woz is not meant to be there,
Yes.
and he kind of comes in. And he goes, "You're destroying Apple."
Yeah.
And then by the end, he's like, "I'm in love with the iPhone. I'll queue to get one."
I don't know. Is that in the film?
I don't know if that's in the film. But
I
that
don't
is
remember.
what literally
I remember
happened.
really liking the movie. But yeah, no, I hate and really respect Jobs.
Yeah, where do we end with these two?
But I really like him as a bloke.
I like Woz. He just didn't make enough money for me.
Yeah, he has no edge, does he?
I mean, what have we learned from Woz and how to become a billionaire? Nothing. He's not one.
yeah.
What did
Yeah.
Woz teach you about money? Nothing.
But he did invent.
Don't give away your equity early.
Well, he's not as bad as that other bloke.
Not as bad as Ryan or wherever he was. He got killed.
Shafted. Just side note, how much equity am I getting from this podcast?
You have. Well, what I'm going to do is tell you have 30%,
Woo!
and then when we get bought,
Yeah.
and you go, you got bought for a bill. Can I have my 30 million, 300 million? I'm going to go, here's £55.50.
And I go, brilliant.
This is a publicly listed podcast that people can buy shares in online. This podcast makes such a loss that I don't think anybody would want to buy into it.
I'm going to short this podcast that I'm on.
We're the Jobs and Wozniak of podcasting.
Yeah.
We're the Gallagher brothers, the McCartney and the Lennon.
Mm.
And in the end, Lennon won out. Liam won out. Well, except for the fact that Steve Jobs is dead. So ultimately,
So is John Lennon.
I think ultimately Wozniak wins.
I think he does. He can
McCartney
sit.
wins. Noel Gallagher.
I mean, they're both pretty winning at the moment. Let's see.
Let's see.
Yeah.
The Gallagher brothers haven't concluded yet.
It is interesting how the nice, friendly ones
Yeah.
and the nutty ones.
It's good nerd, bad nerd.
Good nerd, bad nerd.
It's good geek, bad geek. That's literally what it is.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah. It does work.
So there you have it. Wozniak versus Steve. The war inside Apple as it went down. You take from that what you will, really. Pick a side. You can be either of those co-founders and you can make a decent amount of money. But I think, again, we keep coming back to this. If you want to make the most money, you have to be a bit of a scheming dick. Next up, if you haven't already watched it, we have another episode on Lisa. Now, we've touched upon Lisa a little bit in this episode. Not literally, of course. And she is the child of Steve Jobs that he kind of ignores. Wozniak plays a minor role in it, but it was a fucking mental story. We've also got an episode on Steve Jobs being a bully. We went into more detail on how he basically bullied his way to the top, so you can listen or watch that as well. But for now, that is it. Thank you very much for listening to Alfie's Business Club. Please like, subscribe and follow, and that's all from me. James, you got anything to say? Good. And we are out of time. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week. I can't believe you fell for it.